For those that are not familiar, the Federal Trade Commission put a comment out for franchisees as well as those in the franchise community to report on their experience with the franchise agreement and related items. There were over 20 comments related to home instead. And what I see is there could be a potential franchisee mutiny at Home Instead, which is the leading home care franchise in the United States. Now, for those that are not familiar with Home Instead, they have over 600 locations. Their average franchisee generally has 50 to 100 plus employees, as well as $2.2 million in revenue. The next closest franchise in that space would be Visiting Angel at about 550 units, and then Right at Home and Interim Healthcare. These comments represented franchisees that employ over 2,000 Americans. A lot of the complaints revolved around some of the same issues, including unfairly raising the royalty, removing the right to renew, and raising the revenue performance standards. As you can see, from 2022, the royalty was 5%, pretty standard royalty flat. The 2023 FTD though, sliding scale, 4 to 7%. It's based on different performance reviews. So if you're not growing from what I saw quarter over quarter, you get dinged and you essentially have to pay a higher royalty. In absolute terms, it doesn't seem like that much, but one franchisee stated this is a 40% increase in royalty, i.e. the amount that the franchisee is going to be paying to the franchisor. So using round numbers, if you're a franchisee in Interim Health and you're making $2 million of revenue, you are gonna have to pay closer to $140,000 instead of $100K in revenue to the franchisor, which already $100,000 is a lot of money to be paying to the franchisor. I do really love this segment of home health care. Franchise payback for a business like Home Instead, 1.8 to 3.8 years. Average unit volume dipped a little bit in 2021. It was 2.17 mil in 2020, then went down to 2 million and back up to $2.2 million for 2022. I estimate the owners are making a lot of money. 300K, 400K, 500K, once you have the established operations for some time. The sales and investment ratio is phenomenal. 18 to 1, 19 to 1, depending on how much you invest to start the business. It could be as low as 100, 120K to start a Home Instead franchise. And the resale value, and this is probably part of the reason the franchisees are so upset, there are regularly resales for Home Instead in the 500K to $2 million range. We estimate an average closer to $1.2 million for businesses been in operations for 5+ years. So if you just invested $110,000 for your Home Instead franchise, selling your business for $1.2 million, you just netted a $1.1 million capital gain. Now, you can't have that nice resale if they're removing the right to renew. One franchisee in quotes, "After we sign the new franchise agreement, we no longer have a right to renew going forward. Even if we do everything right, the franchisor is granting itself the authority, given this new provision and the non-compete agreement, to just shut us down and or take our business, notwithstanding all the years of sweat equity and other investments made by franchisees to establish, maintain, and grow their business. This is consistent with Honor's plan to deliver care through its centralized care platform rather than through independent businesses like mine." Now, Honor bought out the franchise system Home Instead, and it's an emerging trend where some of these home care businesses, and we covered with franchisee I interviewed with Brightstar, the franchisor has sold or is looking to sell, and the business is gonna be a lot more profitable if it's not independently operated businesses, but it's all consolidated eventually into a corporate holding. And also reducing the term on the franchise agreement from 10 years to a very atypical 5-year franchise agreement. Now, this does present an opportunity for some fast-growing privately held brands like Assisting Hands Home Care and some of these other franchises that are growing rapidly, like a Better Home Solution out of San Diego. So there are some emerging brands that will benefit, sadly, given what is going on at Home Instead. I would love to hear from Home Instead franchisees, as well as anyone from Home Instead corporate. I open this opportunity to invite you onto our podcast so we can better understand from you what is going on in Home Instead and what the big plan is for the Home Instead franchise system. Leave in the comments section or shoot me an email at patrick@vettedbiz.com.